Already here. That was a little fast. Didn't see that one coming. All right. Hello, everyone. So, welcome to this week's Multifamily News. Got some pretty interesting stuff going on here. It's amazing what's going on in the market today, what's going on in the world today. And it's also amazing that we get to be part of it. Here we go. All right. So, the first thing I want to talk to you about is I just did a podcast for my hotels to homes conversion business. And I'm going to be, what we decided to do is David Peters and I, my partner, David Peters and I will be doing a new podcast just for hotels to home conversions, hotel to apartment conversions. And one of the things that I came up with was essentially an adaptive reuse scorecard. And the reason why I came up with this particular cheat sheet, which I'm going to be making available to everybody when they come and sign up, it basically lays out the things that you need to identify in a potential hotel conversion before you decide whether you're going to move forward with it. And the reason why I put this together is because you have no idea how many times and how many questions both David and I get from people asking, hey, is this a good hotel conversion? Is this a good hotel conversion? And finally, we said, listen, let's create a scorecard, an adaptive reuse scorecard, where we can lay it out for you and you can easily check it. I mean, you wouldn't believe it. I get one guy. My head's going to explode. I get at least a new hotel a week from this guy to look at, and none of them are viable. So I thought, if anything, I'm going to cut down on phone calls. So that's going to be coming up. You'll be able to download that once we put the mechanics in place to capture your email address, because it'll be free except for the cost of your email address. All right. Now, who didn't see this one coming a million miles away? Now, about 6 months ago, or not even, we were talking about the feds predicting approximately 6 small interest rate cuts over the next year. Can you believe they were wrong? And here's why. Jerome Powell said firm inflation during the first quarter had introduced new uncertainty over whether the central bank would be able to lower the interest rates this year. His remarks indicated a clear shift in the Fed's outlook following a third consecutive month of stronger than anticipated inflation readings, which appear to have derailed hopes that the central bank might be able to lower interest rates preemptively. Is anyone surprised? The recent data have clearly not given us greater confidence and instead indicate that it is likely to take longer than expected to achieve that confidence. You don't say. I mean, think about it. When was the last time the government was able to truly control inflation the way they think they can? They only have one tool, and that's controlling the interest rates. That slows down, that puts a kibosh in the economy, and it slows it down. So how many times have we heard this song before? Powell suggested that the Fed was likely to hold interest rates at their current level, a 23-year high, for even a longer period if inflation continued to run above their 2% goal. 23-year high. And I bet you there are a lot of multifamily owners who are waiting for these 6 projected interest rate cuts over the next 12 months. It ain't coming. And if that was your rescue policy, you better find another boat. Central bank officials started the year with guarded optimism that they would be able to cut interest rates several times, beginning around mid-year after inflation dropped more rapidly than they had anticipated at the end of 2023. Oh, look at guys. Inflation's gone down, 6 more rate cuts. Market participants raced ahead and began anticipating a string of 6 or 7 rate cuts, puzzling Fed leaders who didn't think such exuberant expectations were aligned with their own outlook. Oh, isn't that interesting? Now we can look back on it and say, like, hey, we didn't say we were going to do that. Yeah, they did. Now, why is this? Why is this all happening? Why are we not getting the rate cuts that we expected? It's because the Consumer Price Index released last week by the Labor Department showed core inflation in March was 3.8% from a year earlier. That broke a year-long streak in which the 12-month change had declined in each month. Core inflation excludes volatile food and energy prices, and economists treat it as a better gauge of underlying price pressures. And word from the White House was blah, 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 blah. Okay. Did that offend anyone? Good. Just like Jordan Peterson says, you're living life. Plan on being offended. Okay. If you know, you know. All right, let's talk about, oh, wow. Oh, this is a killer for anyone owning multifamily property in Texas, and especially Dallas County. All right. Whew. Have you heard about this one? If anybody's heard this, chime in the chat box. You ready for this? Here we go. Commercial property tax appraisals soar by 21% in Dallas County. Let me just tell you right now, there are going to be so many properties defaulting on their mortgages if you've got to pay 21% more on your property taxes, and then you've got to pay ridiculous insurance premium increases, and then what else on top of that? Oh, insurance, property taxes, pretty much the big two right there. And then if you're got a floating rate interest cap, you're done. You're screwed. Give the keys back. Don't even try to fight it. But let's talk about how taxes are assessed in Texas after I get through this article, and you're going to see why this is a real problem. Commercial property valuations in Dallas County have risen by 21% since last year, despite evidence of a sluggish market. The soaring valuations unveiled in preliminary assessments marks a stark contrast to the actual market conditions perceived by the property owners. Hey, why are you telling me my property deserves to get a 21% property tax increase? My property is worth less than it was before. Remember, guys, this is a 21% increase across the board. Everybody's getting it. It doesn't matter about your valuation, but you can still challenge the valuation. And I'm going to tell you about Texas. Commercial property sales plummeted by 58% last year amid rising interest rates, tight lending standards, and widening buyer-seller discrepancies. Multifamily experienced hikes of 20% on their property taxes. Even for all sectors, John Redmond, manager of the U.S. Real Property Tax Division of Altus Group, was surprised by the relatively modest rise in retail values. Isn't that good for him? Now, let me explain to you how this is really bad. And this is going to be kind of a follow me with this one. Texas is a non-disclosure state. That means when you buy the property, your new price does not get reported to the assessor's department. Okay, that means that if you fly below the radar and the guy bought the property for $1 million 10 years ago and he sells it to you and you buy it for $10 million, the assessor's office does not get notification of the purchase of the amount of that sale. They get a notification that the sale went through, but they don't know how much for. So they just kind of keep your property taxes in line with where they were before. So you own one ringy dingy. Let's see if Mrs. Wiggins is here today. 2 ringy dingies. It's not a big office. Come on, Mrs. Wiggins, you can do it. There, good girl. All right. So You now have a $10 million property that is assessed at 1 million. You get a hit with a 21% increase. What are you going to do? Are you going to go to the assessor's office and ask for a reduction? If they catch wind that your property was 10 million, and you only was purchased for 10 million, and you're only assessed for 1 million, you're going to get screwed. 21% will be a gift to you. So a lot of people won't be able to do many things because of that. They're going to have to keep their head down and just pay that extra 21%. Hopefully, when they were doing their evaluation and they were figuring out their own pro formas, they set the property tax level in the trailing 12s as what it would be at that valuation they're purchasing it for. So they protected themselves. I don't think many novice multifamily investors would know to do that, and it's going to come home to roost. So it's never good when you see property taxes go up by 21%, but it's even worse when it's your property. And the way it works in Texas is Dallas County comes in and they whack you with a 21% increase, okay? 21% increase. Now, what happens is you file an abatement if you want. They're going to give you a 5% reduction just because they're nice guys. Well, you wanted 22% reduction. And they say, sorry, can't do it. You'll have to go to the TTT, the Texas Tax Tribunal. And that, because we did this 21% increase across the board, everybody's going to the TTT, and they have a 2-year waiting period. And the only way you get a seat at the table is you have to pay that 21% increase over the next 2 years, and then you'll get a refund if you win. And folks, I'm telling you, some of these properties can't sustain 2 years of those types of increases in taxes. It's going to be a bloodbath. Always be looking at down in Texas what's going on at the courthouse for tax sales. And now with this increase, those will be more plentiful. All right. Now, have you heard of this thing called good cause eviction? Oh boy, what these liberals are doing. And listen, I'm not saying like liberals like, oh, you're picking on liberals or whatever. No, it's the liberals. It's the governor of New York. All right. It is what it is. All right. They just passed a new housing laws up in Albany, New York, that includes two of the most controversial real estate policies debated in recent years. Property tax breaks for rental projects in New York City and the ramp up in eviction protections. It's called good cause eviction. The original bill, which was proposed back in 2019, would have given tenants the ability to challenge evictions that are the result of unreasonable rent increases. Judges love when they have to interpret laws with such vague terms as unreasonable, which it defined as, they gave you the definition of unreasonable, more than 3% increases or 1.5 times the regional inflation rate, whichever is higher. The proposal moving forward, based on news reports and reactions from tenant advocacy groups, appears to set that limit at 10% or the consumer price index plus 5 percentage points, whichever is lower. It excludes higher priced units, which are units that apartments where the rent is 245% of the fair market rent, and buildings where the owner's portfolio includes 10 units or fewer. And new construction is exempt from this good cause law for 30 years. Allow that, and also it allows municipalities to opt out. They're coming after the landlords in those progressive states, but they always have. All right, let me just say, this is another good one. Listen to this one. This is a perfect example of NIMBY blowing up in your face. All right. Now, NIMBY blowing up in your face is when your town doesn't want any of the unwashed, the affordable income people living in their community. Oh, clutch my pearls, please. And so all of a sudden they get this judge who says, "Hey, wait a minute here. You guys are supposed to let the poor people in. That's what we're all in this together for." And like, "Oh, no, 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 no." And so watch this story. Watch how this backfired on this New Jersey town. Judge strips New Jersey town of power to stop affordable housing. I'm going to read the article because it's a good one. It's a very short article, but it's a good one. You ready? Millburn Township is supposed to have 1,300 affordable housing units. It has 38. So when town officials blocked a 75-unit affordable housing complex, a judge had had enough. Essex County Superior Court Judge Cynthia Santomora appointed a special master to determine where and how the affordable housing will be built. The special master will make the determination by June 1st, my birthday. The previous planned project is an option. Now, the decision came after the New Jersey town ignored court orders to move ahead on the 75-unit residence in its downtown. The town pulled out of the project altogether in February, leading the threat of sanctions against the locality and its leaders. 3 years ago, here's where it gets good. This is where they go, "Oh, we'll show them." 3 years ago, town officials approved the project after reaching a settlement with a nonprofit organization. The affordable complex would have units for multiple income levels near the town's transit station. Community backlash led to the ouster of Millburn officials who approved the plan, and it led to the replacement by the critics of it. So in other words, "Hey, we're going to vote you out. If you approve this thing, we're going to vote you out next election." Okay, guess what? They voted them out. These guys approved the new 75-unit plan because they were under threat of legal action. They get voted out. Guys working hard. I worked through my election, and we have to do this. They get booted out, and all of a sudden, the community backlash puts in their own slate of electors. All right, so. Community backlash led to the ouster of Millburn officials who approved the plan and the replacement by critics of it. The opponents claimed that they have nothing against poor people, but said 75 units clustered together would wreck their downtown. Millburn has more than 20,000 residents. Officials initially asked for 90 days to find alternative sites for the 75 units, but withdrew that request after quickly identifying potential locations. But the judge, Santomoro, didn't buy it. For its part, the group, the nonprofit, argued that alternative sites needed to be presented 2 years ago. Nice try. The judge also stripped the town's immunity from builder's remedy. Huge, meaning developers will have a path to bypass local regulations and zoning because the town is out of compliance with affordable housing requirements. The judge did deny Fair Share Housing's request that she fine town officials personally. Isn't that beautiful? Bravo for the developer. And this whole point, all these do-gooders, these NIMBY people clutching their pearls, who threw out the other officials, now just went in there and had the town ordinances stripped bare. In other words, if the builder now wants to put in 150 units, they can, because the judge said they could. If the town wants to build 175 units with no parking requirements, they can, because those people who came in who didn't follow the law and thought they knew better, and nobody's going to do this in our town, just F around and find out. I've heard that expression lately. they effed around and they found out. So bravo to Judge Santamoro. We need more of those judges. She's probably a progressive. Just want to make sure you people that were hurt by my last comment don't feel hurt anymore. Okay. Oh, here's another good one. This is a good one. This is coming from Evanston, Illinois. Home of my college roommate, Bill Cusack. And oh, here comes the fire department for me. His famous family, the Cusack family, John Cusack, Joan Cusack, big, beautiful house right on Sheridan Road in Evanston. But Evanston happens to be a very liberal, progressive city, like my college roommate. And they tend to try new things as a laboratory for Chicago. So listen to what they did here. Assistant City Attorney Catherine Lone highlighted 3 legal theories that could pose hurdles for the ordinance's implementation in a letter to Evanston's Housing and Community Development Committee. Now, this is a new eviction notice. The policy spearheaded by 8th Ward Alderman aims to transform one-year leases into effective lifetime occupancy rights, with exceptions for justifiable causes like non-payment. Landlords would have to prove serious breach, another vague term that we all love, judges all love to see, or deliberate or reckless violation of the rental agreement to warrant eviction. The plan also calls for landlords to provide relocation assistance if rents increase by more than 15%. Attorney Lone pointed out that penalizing landlords for proposing rent increases that tenants reject might clash with the state's prohibition on rent control. The state, although a pending state bill seeks to repeal this ban, past attempts have failed to gain traction. Lone also raised concerns that compelling landlords to renew leases except for limited reasons could infringe upon the state's public policy on contractual freedom. The state is interfering with the contractual rights between two parties. What other business do they do this to? Oh, man. Lastly, Attorney Lone warned that the ordinance's provisions could constitute an unconstitutional taking without compensation, violating the 5th and the 14th Amendments. In addition, Lone cautioned about potential unintended consequences of the proposed ordinance. She argued that imposing relocation fees might incentivize landlords to hike rents to cover the costs, exacerbating affordability issues and gentrification. Moreover, it could deter small landlords from renting out their properties altogether, further constraining the supply of affordable housing. What do you think of that? They're making the business of leasing apartments so miserable that why even be in this business anymore? A similar proposal in New York has been met with resistance from landlord and tenancy advocacy groups, calling it a housing policy disaster that fails to address the financial stability of older rent-stabilized buildings. So they're coming for you. They're coming for you. Okay, the last thing I wanted to share with you. Oh, good. And this is kind of a little fun one. And what I'm going to share with you now are the 10 emerging multifamily markets in 2024. Go ahead. If you're listening, chime in. Tell me what markets you think are in the top 10, and we will see how you do. Tell me what you think. All right, you ready? Nobody's talking today. All right. This is based upon Yardi Matrix data. And I tell you something, it's amazing how the Yardi Matrix information is so accurate and fresh because it's real time. When you're looking at the Yardi Voyager is a air-based cloud-based platform, so they get data from all the, if what percentage of rents have been collected by the fifth of each month, because you already just aggregates all that data. It's phenomenal. All right, number one. Now, folks, there are top 10 emerging multifamily markets in 2024. There are 2 outside of the Southeast. Everything else is down in the Southeast. Here we go. Number 1, Omaha, Nebraska. Omaha, Nebraska had $275 million in multifamily assets in 2023. Next one, number 2, Greenville, South Carolina. I have a lot of students looking for deals in Greenville, South Carolina. Very high on the affordability ranking. Now, number 3 is a region. It's not one particular city. It's a region, and that is the Southwest Florida coast. The region represents the contiguous space below Tampa St. Pete down and consists of the Fort Myers and Sarasota markets and surrounds. All right. It's a 4th most populous entry in this list, just behind Omaha. You looking down there? Number 4, Wilmington, North Carolina. These are just like, we all know these answers. We've been following this for years, and these are absolutely the top 10. This is where people look. Number 4, Wilmington, North Carolina. Number 5, remember how I said 2 are outside Omaha, and then this one. And this one's way outside, and I'm actually a little surprised by it. Eugene, Oregon. If anyone can tell me why, that would be very interesting to see, because that I don't see that as really being a growth area, but I guess it is. Number 6, Augusta, South Carolina. Not Georgia, Augusta, South Carolina. One of the most affordable multifamily markets in this list, with the average per unit price at $163,000. Isn't that amazing? I mean, we're buying that hotel down in Louisville at $42,000 a door. And there it is, Augusta, South Carolina, one of the top emerging markets at $163,000 a door. All right, number 7, another one. We always knew this one coming. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Well, you're probably not going to see. I haven't gone through the whole list yet, but I don't think you're going to see Nashville. I don't think you are. Okay. Number 8, of course, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. One of the most populous of all the markets in this analysis, and is situated northeast of Charlotte and west of Raleigh. Developers finalized 2,900 new units in 2023 and had 4,500 under construction in December. That's a booming market because people are moving there. Okay, number 9. If anybody can tell me, it's another Tennessee market, not Chattanooga, and I'm going to give you the hint. It's not Nashville. It is Knoxville, Tennessee. Knoxville, Tennessee. And now, I made a mistake. I said 2 of the 10 were outside of the Southeast. 3 of the 10 are actually outside of the Northeast. You are not going to believe this next market, okay? You're not going to believe it. Number 10. I'm going to read you the little bio on it and see if you can pick up on where it is. Last year, developers added just 485 units, which explains the tight occupancy rate of 97.0% in November. This location is the only metro in this group that posted an increase in occupancy, albeit a small 0.1% increase year over year. The pipeline points to some relief, as there were 3,600 units under construction in December. In the 12 months ending in October, this place's employment market posted a feeble 0.8% growth, well below the national average. The jobless rate stood at 3.3, outperforming the U.S. average. Expectedly, that metro is the most expensive in this group, with its price per unit up 13.8% year over year to, are you ready? $480,000 per unit, more than double the US figure. By investment volume, this place was among the bottom ranking metros with a volume of just 225 million. Folks, number 10, Long Island, New York. Long Island, New York. Think about, to get into the multifamily business in Long Island, on average, now remember, to get into the multifamily business, you need 5 units. You would need $2.4 million to buy a 5-unit in Long Island. 2.4 million. How much do you think 2.4 million will buy you in Greensboro, North Carolina, or Greenville, South Carolina? I would venture to say you'll have a nice diversified portfolio of multiple units, more than 5, if you did that in somewhere else. So I don't think many of us should be rushing out to Long Island anytime soon. And besides that, it's in a very progressive state. Oh, he didn't just do that, did he? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. All right, folks, that's it. That's all I got for you this week. Tune back in on Thursday. We're going to be doing some more training. I am starting up the Hotels to Homes podcast. Just 20-minute segments where David and I are going to be teaching about what it takes to be successful in the hotel to homes conversion business. We'll be talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly, as you know I always do. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's going to be beginning next week. So I will see you all then. Thanks for coming along, everybody. Always a lot of fun.